we're going. This is Hagdama. We're in the Hagdama, the Birchas Avos, the Rosh Hashanah. So we're going through this, and what we're finding out. Whoa, let me get this up here. What we're finding out is that the word Rayo is extremely important to everything that's happening at the beginning of the davening, the Shemona Esrei and Rosh Hashanah. Now he's going through all the different places in which we can see the Raya. So I have a little trouble with this because of the way, how he shows us the Raya. I mean, I think there's lots of different ways you could find Rayos, and just, it seems to be that I'm trying to look at, it seems to be it's random. It could be very close to random, but he says, of course, it's not. So, at any rate, let's listen to some of the things that he says. We're actually on the from the bottom of the right column on page 12, Kuf Ayin Hey. We're going to be at the place of Aliyah La Taras Yesod. This is on the right column. It'd be the third paragraph. So he says Aliyah La Taras Yesod Nirmaz Bebechinas Raya. So on all the places that we see that the Nook moves up as she grows, along the back of Zer Anpin, we're seeing this concept of Rayo in all of these places. Kishtei Shemos Elu, which is Avaya Ekya, Hein B'milu Yudin, V'minyan Av and Kasa. If you take Av and Kasa, She'odach of the Cheshben Regel, it comes to the bunch of 333, of 233, which, of course, Regel means foot. And normally you think of it, the Shlosh Regalim like that. He said, but this appears, the combination of these two names, Av and Kasa. So the Kashech ben Nasser may have a misbar regel. You take away the Rayo. So he says within the word regel is the word Rayo, plus Yishar, Yud Zion, plus 17 letters. Or 17, do the number 17. Bima kolo hem yod ches. Now you make a difference in yod ches. Shehem connected eser osius sheyesh b'milu via the av, which corresponds to the 10 letters. The eser spheros that you see in the milu of the av, and that's 10. Va'od shmona osios a peshutos sheyesh b'shtei shemos via akia, and then you have the peshutos there is 8. So therefore that gives you 18. Now, I wish that I understood that better, but like I said, I don't. So we'll go on. So the Aliyah, the Yesod, so the Aliyah, now the Malchus moves up. She moves up to Yesod, Nirmaz Bebechinas Rayo. How is that? Yavayla B'milu Yudin comes to Av again. Ve'ekya B'milu Heyen She'ola Kone. So now you have Av and Kone. They come to the Cheshbon of Rakav. So it's 10 less because you're dealing with corner rather than a casa. So he says, so it comes to the number, I'll call it Rakog. So he said, Rakov sak Rayo, take the Rayo away. It's the same process he talked about the previous growth. Yishar misbar Sheva, so you'd have 7 left over. Kolo, it makes it 8. Which is the 8? Shehu Keneged Shmona Osius of Peshuto Sheyesh B'shtei Shemus Avaya Ekya. Basically, it's the same, it's very similar pattern. So all I can do is just look at the pattern, keep going. So he said then the next one is, one second. So he said, V'chaliyah the Netzach, now it moves up from Yesod, it moves up to Netzach along the back of Zer Anpin, V'hu Nirmaz Bebechinas Rayo. How? Yavayl B'milu Yudin, once again, Ola Av. And then he said, V'ekya B'milu Elofin, Ola Kamag. So Olim the Cheshbon Ratu comes to the number of Ratu. Yima Kolel Hu Rayo. Okay, so it wants to show us there's another Rayo embedded in this. Then he says, in that Aliyah, the Aliyah the Teferis, he says, Nirmaz Bebechinas Rayo, how? Yavayl B'milu Yudin, start the same way again. Shebegimatria Av, Kasha nosif lo es keser denuk sheshor shel teferes dezer anpen, and you add on to this. I have to read this a second time because it doesn't follow that pattern exactly. As keser denuk sheshor shel teferes dezah, because the nook begins to grow from the, I guess, the opening in the closet is their anpen, shu rivur the shem b'vaya dehein shebegematria kedem, olim yachtad to the number raya. So let's see it again. I got a little confused here. He says aliyah the teferis, the aliyah now moving up to the teferis bebechinas raya ki chavai b'milu yud shebegematria av. Now what do you add on to it? He says, "Kajer nosif lo as a keser denuk." You add on the keser denuk shorshol teferes dezah, which comes out as teferes dezah. And what is the keser denuk? Shehu rivur the shem avaya dehein shegematria kedem. So now you have av kedem. This also appears in other places in the Rashash. This concept of av kedem. So he said, Olim Yachtav the Minyan Rayo. So the two of them are straight out Minyan Rayo. So then, V'al Yedecha V'chazivuk de Abba V'ima. Now he switches over here and he says this. A yikud takes place between Abba and Ima. Abba Imi Loim Anigran B'Zekifa Chashniya, which is caused as a result of the second time that we have a Zekifa. That is Zekifas Rosh. B'gadesh yehei koich b'zer anpen la'asos l'saken as a malchus. So this is the shefa. When we lift ourselves up, it's ma'im nukvin. That's what I'm thinking. And he said this therefore causes and ultimately a yichud to take place in Abba Ve'ima. But Nimsha, so this is the second time you've done this. Nimsa shefer shel shtei shemus avaya akyech l'tzorach binyan parts of Hanuk. So he says this causes a shefa to come, I guess, through Zer Anpen into the Nook. And he says, Nimshak shefa shel shtei shemus avaya and akya l'tzorach binyan parts of Hanuk. By Yedechem, and through them, yesh koach la'alchos el es malchus. It has the ability, the power there, by bringing these two names there, la'alos es malchus od shlosha olios, to bring it up 3 olios higher, acheros, mechachazach the keser dezah from the chest, until we reach the keser of zah. So he says, ha'aliyah l'chesed the gevurah nirmaz bebechinas raya. So going up to that higher level, the of chesed and gevurah, it also has a reference to the concept of raya. Kasher mitzarfim shlosh bechinos shel ekiyah de'olofim. So what do? You take 3 bechinos. What does this mean? Of the ekiyah of olofim. Ha'achas ribua. So he says in this way. Ha'achas rivua havaya dema. One is the rivua of the havaya dema. So take I'm not sure what he meant by the shlosh bechinos. They'll read it out. Ekiyah de olofin, and then he says the ekiyah of olofin. One of them is the rivua of havaya dema she'olakal. Now has nothing to do with ekiyah de olofin, so I'm a little confused. Hashem is revua de ekiyah pashut, and the second one is a revua of ekiyah pashut ha'olamad. V'hashlish is hu arba osios de pashut, v'od eser de mole, v'od kaf zayin de mole de milui, he writes, she'olam the misbar mem aleph osios, and you have a total of 41 letters. So put them all together. Add them up, ya'alu kulum yimakoilo l'sak rayo. You're going to see there's a rayo there too. So aliyah l'chochma b'bina. Now we're going to the very top. There is b'bechinas rayo. So there's a rayo there too. V'kasher netzarfim mispar kasu shall rivua havaya desag. So he shows us here this number 166. And this yud k vav k. It's the revua of the Chavaya the Sag. V'od Misper Chamishim B'Shebetzir, and another account of 50. Chamishim Shebetzir Ha'osus D'Shem Ekya, which can be produced from, I guess we have to see this in, I have to see that, try to understand it. V'od Misper Chamishim Shebetzir Osus D'Shem Ekya, She'ola Yachdav Leminyan Raya, comes to that. Now, he goes, Leah the Kesser, B'makom Kesher Shel Tefillin, so he wants to say that's the level of Kesser that we're talking about in the skull. He says that opposite the place where the knot of your Tefillin is located, he said, Nir Bebechinas Raya. How is that? Ki Arba Sheva Savaya Av Sag Ma Uben, the Asmab, they come to the gematria of Ralav. V'im Nasir, if you take from them Emmanuel, if V'im Nasir Meminyan Lalav Sach Tes Zayin, Communion Taz Osios, the 16 letters, Hapshutos, Sheyesh Ba'arba Shemos, which is the number 16, Yishar Sak Rayo, everything will be Rayo. Okay, now the next page is something I think you might like when we look at it. I'm not going to go through it there's some of it that is still missing. I really don't know what's going on with it, but it is a drawing, I think, of all of the, I don't know if he has exactly a title for this. So he says in the darker lines is Yom Aleph, and the light ones are Yom Beis. So we could find here all the different parts. The business at the top is a little bit hard to read, just to say it. So it's, I haven't quite been able to put it together yet, but I'm going to work on it little by little, and I know this kind of thing that you like, so it might be something you want to look at more to try to see which parts are which. We have a Rachel and a Leah. We understand that those two are being, I guess this refers to Nasira. I'm not sure exactly, and we see all the different things which were Manasseh. But let's go on to the next part, and we'll go to Birchos Avos, the Rosh Hashanah, and just keep trying to come back and fit together little parts of that, of this drawing. And it says like this, you say the word Baruch. Now here's a letter base on that, and we'll see it down below. He says that you say the word Baruch. What happens when you say the word Baruch? He says Lahamshek Ma'alef Dekone. So we're going to see this in a surah that he has in the next page. Lahamshek Ma'alef Dekone. You're going to take the Aleph of Kone, Shetzirazel Raya, which we have said before in the introduction that you could make it into a Raya with a Yud in the top and a Vav, Yud and a Vav, and then the bottom is a backwards Resh. So he says like this, Shlosh Sag, there are 3 Sags there. Im Shloshim Os Yosechem, so you take 3 Slavs is 189. You take Shloshim, the third Os Yosef, the 30 letters, that gets you to 3 more than Rayo, 219 instead of 216. He leaves it right there. That's what he says. But we have also a Tiv of Rashash here. So let's look at the Tiv of the Rashash. See how the Tiv can help us out with this understanding. So we're taking the Aleph, Shetzeroso Rayo, Shlosh Sag im Shloshim Osios together. Each one of them has 10 letters, and you get to Rayo. But it's actually not Rayo, so we have to kind of fill in the blank. The Hamshek Me'elef the Kodesh Rasa. Okay, let's go down to the light print. Hine Hashefach HaYored Mizer Anpin the Chatzilus El Hadas Shal HaMalchus Hanimsas Bebria. So Malchus is now, I guess we're talking about the morning. Since we've been learning about Kadshao, so we're coming straight out. We must be talking about the morning because Malchus is still in Bria. So Chaladah Shal HaMalchus Hanimsas Bebria. When Ramos Bebechinas Raya be called Prat to Prat. So he says what's happening here, the Shefa that's coming down, every place that it comes from, every part of it is going to have a Raya. V'lechein yesh l'kaven b'bechinas raya b'shefach ha'gevuros ha'yor. So that's what we have to have as the gevuros that are coming into the nook now. We have to think that these gevuros are raya. Over makom shebebena yored the shefet the chayda chadas the ima, where it's actually coming from. V'chein b'zer anpin she'al yada nimshach hashefa. Over das the nook, which is the place shel l'sham niknas the shefa. So all these three places, all going to be rayos. V'dechile b'kavanda b'bechinas rayach nirmet b'parts of ima, shemisham nishbach v'yored the shefa. That shefa that's coming, flowing out of zer anpin el hanuk, nimsas bebria, nimshach b'mekoro, the parts of ima. So if its root, it extends down or flows down b'mekoro, which is the parts of there. Shemaram is the bechinas rayo. Ki im ki bechinas savaya b'milui sag. So let's go back to this. V'im eser osios amilui hare ag. 3 times ag. V'hidach v'yeshnan shlosha chavayas t'sag. Ki shlosha chavayas mispashetis. Mispashet b'chagat denuk. So the shlosh avayos are mispashet down into the chagat of the nook. That's the chagat all the way down into that place. The shlosh pamim ag is riot, run to 19. So he says what you have to do is you have to toss it bechem gimel yusarim. Shehem neged gimel hakolalim shall gimel shemus akya. So you take away the shrashim there. So he says, and how you do that, the rule that allows him to say that this is how we see the raya embedded in there. So if you take away this, you see, here's a raya. Shlosh av shebegematria rayo. 3 av times 3 is rayo anyway. And then mshachas maos aleph. So he says this whole flow comes from the letter aleph. Shal ekia b'milui hein shebebina. Shebegematria konen. I have to read this again, just that's so my mind looked at something else. So Cheshem and Neged Gimel Akolonim shall Gimel Shemus Advaya, so we remove that, and therefore you get to 216. Hare Shlosh Av Shebegematria Rayo. So now you have 3 Avs, makes a Gematria Rayo, and there you go. V'inach of Shefach of Shlosh Avayas. Now the Shefa from these Avayas, named Shachos, now where does it come from, the Shefa? Aleph, the letter Aleph, shall Ekib Imilui Hayan Shebabina. The meal of Hayan would be the lowest part of the place within Ima that would be flowing. That's where I see it, because you have a kasa in the comic before it. So he said, Bebina should be gematria kone, which is gematria 151. So he says, Va'os Aleph, as we have said before, Mitzchalaka the Shlosh Chalokim gets divided into 3 different portions. Hachedaka Elyon Sarasa Yud. Hachedaka Misoid Sarasa Vav. So he's really going over something we just saw in the Hakdama. Hachedaka Tachton Sarasa Reish Hafucha. Benimsa Sheyeshnam Beis Ufanim Ketzad Mermamas Ima the Bechinas Raya. If it's Yuria Shemus, which we're going to see on the next page, he said the Halon. Maybe Shlosh Avayas should be called Echad Bechem Yeshnam Eser Osius. It shows to the 3 sags. V'gam called Echad Bechem Ola the Misper Sag. So 3. This is a common thing that we see, and exactly, I guess, I'm not sure why you use the count, why he uses the count, but very common. He takes like a sag and he adds the 10 letters onto it. It makes it 73. So that is, they all come out. If you take them, they're going to come out to be the gematria rayo. Also, kosher norid mechem shlosha kolonim. When you take the shrashim away from them, and they're standing on their own, there they are. V'gam rembes bechinas rayo. So also, there's a rembes here to the aspect of rayo, but suras os aleph shal ekya, os aleph shal ekya. Now on the next page, well, let's look at the Shefa Rashash. So let me get that right there. The Birchos Avos, the Rosh Hashanah, is going to go over some ground we've seen already, but maybe a little something new, I hope. Kosav Rav Zal and Shaar Hakavanot Rashash Tiv She'ein shinui v'chiluk bein kavanas birchus avos shebemei hachol lemei Rosh Hashanah. They're really the same, ex ella, with the exception, excuse me, being kavanas araya, when we talk about the kavana for araya, sha'ana mosivin l'kavim b'yom Rosh Hashanah b'kol b'china b'birchus avos. Od yeshinui bein tefillin shall call Hashanah, tefillah shall call Hashanah. There's a difference in all the tefillahs of the whole year long, the tefillahs Rosh Hashanah. Ki b'kol yom ola chanog adachazah dezer anpeh. Of Rosh Hashanah, as we saw in Okdama, ola chanog adadas. V'chein yesh b'cha b'od shinui, there's another difference. She b'kol yom maschelas anok la'alod b'kriyas, she begins to come up when we bring our head, our body, and then our head down. Of a Rosh Hashanah, ihu ola enu ola ala b'zakifos, but she doesn't move up until you get to the zakifos. B'chein yeshin we noise, there's another difference. Sheb'kol yom na'asis hanesira b'tevis ba'ab. Of a Rosh Hashanah, na'asis hanesira b'tevis zachreda l'chaim. So let's remember Zachreda l'chaim. B'rei od b'pasach hanayim, he said b'seder kavanas Rosh Hashanah b'sofo, he said od kama shinuyim, there's a bunch of other ones we can see over there. Now this one here says the word baruch, the magic word baruch, kasav b'pasach hanayim, ki b'dechilat tzarek lacham shek seder ha'memochen devak v'gar de'aba v'ima k'seder ha'chol. He says the first thing you have to do is you're bringing down what? The vok. First verse we're dealing with the vok. Ki b'dechilat tzarek lacham shek seder ha'memochen devak, and then after that the gar, the abba v'ima k'seder ha'chol, the same way we do it during the weekday. I'm not sure exactly what he means. V'achar kach l'hosif. Then after that, though, you have to have the additional kavana, b'seder haraya. Umefurish yotza medivra Rabbeinu b'Shaar Hakavanot, and then he says where in Rosh Vav, the Rosh Hashanah divra Moscow Elokeinu. Now on the next page, so we're going to just get a depiction here of what's going on. You said the word baruch. So here we go. So he says first thing at the top of this the drawing here with the sags and the letters, he says you see that it starts with laf instead of aleph. So I'm assuming that he means to say that the aleph is reserved for a raya. I didn't see a note on that. So he says, so it's lamed fei, and then the rest of koneh. And he says, what do you have? You're using that aleph, which is a 216. That's what I'm thinking he means, but why it's not there. And then you see the three sags. Those are the osios. And then he says, well, this would be the osios. He's doing it backwards the way that I thought he would do it. And then the misbar is on the right side. So you have 30 letters there. And then on the left side, you have the misbar, you have the count, which is 3 times 63 is 189. 189 plus 30, which we said before, is 219. Take away the shrashim, then you have 216, that's the raya. So now he says, L'chachan bagadate de ben de ma. So this should be read, took me a while to read this, it's because it's simple enough, but it's a den de ma, and it's the ben de bina. So we've already looked into the ben de ma, according to what we've seen in the Kadshos, really refers to what's happening at nighttime after midnight. The ben, which is, the ben would be, I guess before that would be at Mariv time, the ben de ben. But all of this, the bina, is going to come in l'hacha. Now that's my interpretation, I don't know if I'm right, but to understand it. No, he says number bet, he says, l'hachan bagadate de ben de ma'u de ben, the bina de za. So chakuvana beklalos the parts of zer anpen. What he means to say that it's going into zer anpen, And I guess I'm not sure why he focused, he gave this explanation, why he, because it's going specifically to the Bina, the Ben de Ma, the Ben de Ben of Bina. Okay, that was that. Then we're going to number Gimel, down below it. Number Gimel says, Lahamshech v'valk shal hamochim v'harayo. So what we're going to do is we're going to stream down the Valk. That's what we're going to look at over here. So here we have Chesed Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, and Hod. Right, left, middle, right, left, middle. And he shows it to all of that. That is what is streaming. So I think he has another note here. So he said, Lachamshek Vok Shel Hamochin V'Harayo. Ki B'Tevis Baruch, when you say that word, it's a magic word, Mekubonav Lahamshek Vok Al Yedecha V'Kriyas Aguf. So you have to imagine, he said, Lahamshek, the Vok Al Yedecha V'Kriyas Aguf. So now your body, bow your body down, and that goes with that. Okay, now, so that's what you have when you bow your head down, not your body head down, your body down. You're bringing in the Vok. The Vok represents the body. So he says now, number Daled, where's it going to go? It's going to go to the Chabad Chagat, the Nook. It's going to go to the top 6 of the Nook, because when it comes in, it goes only 6 places down. The Nai is still not affected. So he said the Chabad Chagat, the Nook, Shehi Hey Shitzarusa, he means the Nook is a Hey, which is in the form of Surasa Re, Resh, and a Yud, as we've talked about before, how you could take the Hey, and you could divide it to, he has a little explanation, I think, I hope, Shitzuras Re, and the Vav, which is also there, which is the Vav of the 6 that are coming down, the Asa Rayo, that's the Rayo. So it says the Vav, then he brings out a little bit more, and I guess we're going to see the drawing up above. Vav Lagabe Re, then Asa, and then you add the Vav to that Re, which is a Hey made into a Re, and you now have a Vanasa Re, which is like a Rayo. Rayo. So let's look down. This started with number Dawud. He says, Atachem b'vayr ketza nirmaz rayo b'zer anpin shv'mena yara the shefa. So in Zer Anpin, so we went through Ima, and we said how the shefa went through her. And we picked that up from that aleph. It's from an aleph. That's the concept there in that rayo. Shv'mena yara the shefa, that's where the shefa is coming down from. He os vav mamshech shefa l'os hey achrona. So there's the Vav and then the Hey. V'hidech Os Hey Tzarasa Kamo Os Resh Mibachutz V'Os Yud B'Vifnim. So there's your Re. V'ima Vav, and then you'd have the Vav because Na'azarayo. V'nimsaki Zer Anpin. Shibimenu Nimshach Hashefa the Malchus. Gam Hu Mir Meramez the Rayo. Ki Hu Nirmaz Ba'os Vav, because it's really a reference to the letter Vav. Shemashpia Shefa La'os Hey, which is bringing over the host Hey, which he just showed us could be also looked at as a Re. But Surah Shnei Os is together. What do you get? Put them together. What do you got? Rayo. Now let's go over to the next page. And the next page, there's a Hey over here somewhere. Okay, Hey. So he says, so what are we doing then? He says, Lahamshech, May vonk shehu vav, so they're talking about the cottonus of Zer Anpin, from his vav, shisha oros, shisha aser oros, the lamed base, the sivas the chelko. So he's going to explain it down below, that there's 32 nesivos that are coming in over here. I'd like a little bit more explanation about that, but he said the lamed base, the sivos, the chelko, Laos Hey Shibitziur Re. So he says, well, you're taking the Lamed base. So how do you get 16? What's going on here? Shehem base Vavin V'Yud, which comes out to be 2 Vavs and a Yud. Misbar Kaf base, which is the concept of 22. Shem Shisha Asach of Oros, the Chelko Malamed Beis the Sivos. There are the 16 portions that are given to Zer Anpin. 16, he's going to explain 16 go to the Nukva, 16 go to Zer Anpin, and Zer Anpin's going to give her 6 more. Vashis Oros Shenosan law, he gives her 6 more letters. He gives the koach lahotzi as a shis heichlim shetachtecho, to bring out the 6 heichlim that are below her. We have a couple of minutes here, so let's see if I can read it down. On the light print down below in the Tiv, let's see if I got the whole thing here. So he says, Yeshnam lamed beis the sivas chochma, hanis chalkos the beis cholokin. Shisha also bezer anpin, v'shisha also 16 each of the nook. Elisha zer anpin lokech shisha cholocha mechelko. He takes 6 from his portion. V'nos and the nook b'kedei shetuchul lohotzia as shisha hechelos shetachtecho. This is a little strength because Ima now is in Bria, and she's at the very top of Bria, and below her in the 7th hechel, and below her are the other 6. So this is going to give her the power to bring them up. So this is the first, this is the concept of when you're bowing down, you're bringing the body to the K, to the Nook, B'tevis Baruch. So when you say Baruch, that's what you're doing. Because when you do that, what's actually happening is, you're bringing down the 6 halachim as they're anpin to the Nook. Oros, and then she has, instead of 16, she has 22. Shisha also shalah, v'od shisha shakim l'chabezer anpen, v'lechein yesh l'kavod shetzuras oz hey damid the base vavin v'yud. It looks like that. It's like similar to 2 vavs and a yud. The shem b'gematria kaf base. The hine, he says hey titah nechlachas the base chalakim. You could take the hey and dive into 2. Chelik echad seraso kamo dalud, which we said before. Shehem shnei vavim. Shebegematria yud base. It's adding it up another way. V'chelik sheni hu havav is the vav itself. Shebetzad small shuhu vav zeira b'li rosh. So this is your rayo. V'tzirasagamo os yud. So it looks like a yud then. V'nifshe shebechelik echad yesh misbar yud base. V'chelik sheni yesh misbar yud. So that's 22. V'sa kulam kaf base. And the chalachim, the base chalakim, this could be divided into 2 different portions. Chelaka echad hu os yud v'os vav. Sheshnechem olim shisha aser. This is to tell you about the etzem and look. V'chelak hasheni hu os vav is the vav shemaramas al vav oros no safos no safim. Anosim vav b'kedei sheyihi ha'bal koach la'atzel as vav ha'chechelos the v'bricha meditatehu. Be'inyan zechav bin asacha yedech achriya shal lavav l'gabi the hay tato sha'az nimshach l'nok shisha oros v'toch shisha also oros shal zer anpen. From now she's going to have this power because she got to that. But nimsa sheyesh l'nok kaf base oros v'lezeh v'lezah yud oros bilvad. That's it. And that's where it stops right there. Okay, a longer shir today, and trying to get into something deeper. As I'm thinking that, as Rabbi Yitzhak Meyer Morgenstern says, the way to fight the Yetzer Hara is with benimius. This is our best weapon, and so therefore we're going to go in more and more detail to try to understand what's happening to sweeten the dinim of Rosh Hashanah.